Hi guys, I'm coming with a new video today. I hope you like it, and this is for everyone who's getting into darts and they just want to get that little bit better. So this is how to play beginner level darts. So beginner level darts, obviously it sounds easy, but actually it's more difficult than you might think sometimes. Obviously if you're averaging 55, 60 plus, then you're a little bit more what I would call intermediate, which I will do another video if everyone likes this one. You can still go back to the beginner video and still pick up the basics. The keys are getting the fundamentals down and building upon them. So you might be going for a bit of a rough patch and follow back and watch this video, but I will do an intermediate level after this one. But yeah, beginner level. So what is beginner level? For me, it's understanding what exactly darts is. I'm not going to go into the level of what is darts, what are the boards and stuff like that, because I think a lot of people can work that out quite easily. But what I am going to go, the fundamental techniques that I believe you need to be able to hit, say, a 50, 55 free dart average. I think you need a few things, and most of all you need patience and a bit of practice. So I'm going to run through the basic techniques that I think can help people in doing the 10,000 hours experiment. In the first, say, 300 hours it took me to get past that beginner level. A lot of work and a lot of learning took place, so I thought I'd share that with you. A lot of people requesting this video, so hopefully it doesn't disappoint. So beginner level darts, to conquer that, say, 55 average, so that you're a proficient player. You're going to beat a lot of players in the pub unless they've been playing a long time. You're going in and you're beating the average person. A beginner average can go anywhere from 25 to 45, so really to conquer and achieve that, past that mark, you need a little bit of practice, and you need a little couple of things that really will help. So number one that will really help, that I learned from the 10,000 hours experiment, is stability. So when you throw in, you really need a nice stable base. So when you're throwing, you really want to be not moving from here downwards. You want, the only part of your body you really want to move is from here and this. That's all it really is. The more you can do that, the better. And don't watch pros, like John Henderson, the people who have got something a little bit different in their technique. They've luckily learnt a way to feel the rhythm of their throw. But to be honest with you, try not to do that. If you can develop something that makes you feel comfortable and play better, then fine. But actually, what you might find is, all right, it might work now, but later down the line, that'll build inconsistencies. The more simple you can keep your throw, the better it will be. So in an ideal throw, it would really, honestly, look literally just like this. That is literally it. Obviously, that's a bit of an extreme example, but the simpler it is, the better. And it's really, really key with stability. You're not moving all your body or jerking or moving like this or lurching forward. That's a big point to actually being stable, because the thing is, the more you build in inconsistencies when you're not playing well, it's the more little variables that can go wrong. So actually, the less you can put in that and the simpler that you can keep it, the better. So that's number one, stability. Right, number two, just as important as the first one, but actually I think it's easily forgotten by a lot of people. So it's all about velocity. I've spoke about in my other videos, and what does really velocity mean? It means the speed in which your dart is going to be getting to the board, how hard or how fast it's going to be going. So velocity, what you really need is enough speed as going through the air to maintain a straight-ish level on a parabolic curve, which basically is going like this and then going down. So you want a little bit of curve, but you want, in order to be able to feel and group the darts nice and together, what you need is enough speed to be doing that. You don't want too much speed, so the darts are going so fast you can't replicate that speed. You want a middle ground where you're able to feel the dart, but also, so as it's going, and I've said this before, so as the darts come in, it's just slightly climbing in the air and then dropping at the end, and it can climb both ways. It sounds funny, but if you watch Raymond van Barneveld's dart, as they leave his hand, they go upwards and then sort of drop at the end. Whereas most people, most top TV pros, they will have this sort of motion. Kim Huybrechts is very extreme like this and then goes right at the end. That allows feel within the dart. So you can actually, I've changed my throw drastically over the last year or so to I actually grip further back now, so I get more of a tilt. And obviously I've gone further and further back to I'm pretty much on the stem now. So playing around with that really does make a difference. So velocity is number two, and just in order to actually physically measure that, what you want to be seeing is your darts rising up in the board. So as you're coming in, you want to be able to not see this dropping in a big angle, dropping down here, dropping down here. You'll know, because if you release the dart properly, you'll feel the motion of it going. It doesn't even have to go in there, but you'll feel it with power. Feel not like it's dropping out of the sky like this, you know. And if you throw flat, you'll be down here somewhere, you know. You'll be feeling it drop. You'll be able to see it straight away. So if you are doing that, you need to go back to basics and actually just focus on your release. Focus on the velocity of your throw. A lot of people actually struggle with generating enough power. So it's an easy drill for that. What you want to do is you want to start wherever your starting position is normally. You want to start at a lesser position. So mine, for example, my hit point that I get as far back is here. So you start here, and then you literally try and release from there. So you just try and throw up. So you're trying to try and flick the wrist upwards. So what you want to do is try and do that, and obviously you're going to finish low. You know, a really simple thing you do, you actually just aim upwards. And what that's going to do is not have to get you going back here. A lot of people have a problem with going all the way back, and they're hitting their face, hitting their glasses, you know, behind the shoulder's a big one. When I first started playing, I would go back here to generate more power, but actually it really caused me some problems that I had to change. So back here, you know, there is some players that go back there, but actually they've been playing so long that they're used to it by now and they know where they are. Whereas you're better off changing it early, keeping it nice and straight, and then generating the power from here and the wrist flick. Don't get caught up on the follow through. It is important to generate power because you don't want to be aiming up there and then only getting power from the arm. But actually, look at Johnny Clayton. He doesn't have a full arm follow through. He actually flicks from his wrist. But what he does have is a great wrist flick. So he does generate power, which allows him to feel and not tense up this part of his arm. So just a point, velocity is very, very key. So throw hard enough, don't drop. Number 3, this is, in my opinion, one of the most important of all. And hopefully it will help a lot of people who are finding themselves inconsistent. So number 3 is one of the most important of all. It's actually all about keeping your darts straight. It sounds really silly, but actually one of the hardest things to do in darts is, even for pros, is keeping your darts straight. You know, you'll see confidence go down if you don't keep your darts straight. You'll see bad shots coming in. You'll block the bed and things like this. You know, you'll do lots of things. So actually, there's a few drills you can do, which I've done in other videos. But the main point is it comes from your technique. So when you're actually, you know, getting ready and building your throw or you're starting, what you want to be finding is the straight line from here all the way to here. You know, obviously you're going to be higher than that, but this is just to demonstrate. You want a dead straight line so that you're nice and here, comfortable position. What you don't want to be is all like this and, you know, you're going over there and you're going to end up going left or right. You want a nice straight line from the top of your dart all the way through. And a lot of people, you want to keep your dart straight when you're getting used to gripping, because if you start like this and then you try and follow through, the dart's going to go over this way. Or in some cases, depending on your release, if you flick your wrist out, it's going to go the other way. Either way, it needs to come through on plane. If you did literally a perfect robotic throw, the dart would be dead straight and it would come through on plane and then just carry on going. So think like a robot and actually keep your arm straight. You know, even sometimes if I'm not throwing well, one thing I will do, I will literally just pull the dart back and just come back straight. I won't even throw forward. I'll just literally straight back, just to give myself that knowing where my path is, because you'll find sometimes you'll go left, sometimes you'll go right. I've done it extreme, but actually that can make a massive difference. So go back to basics, keep your darts straight. It's all about keeping them straight on the backwards so they come through on the forwards. Number 4. Now this tip is, for me, one of the most important for me personally, and I wish I'd have done it a bit sooner, learn how to chalk. It sounds really silly, it's basics, it's not really the same as normal maths. When you're chalking and counting the score in a game, you have to be knowing what you're going to have next. Or what happens, it breaks your rhythm, you then become unconfident. I can promise you, I've been in games where I 100% should have won, I didn't because my counting wasn't that good. Because even my counting's been unearthed by my opponent thinking, that guy don't know how to count. But I've been playing at a higher level than what my ability of counting and scoring is. So for me, it's one that I'm always working on, and I've really tried hard over the last, you know, however many months to actually, and I will going forward, to really get my counting at a really good level. Still got a long way to go because I've not been playing long enough, to be honest with you, but actually it's a really, really important point. You know, you need to know what finishes are where. You know, little ones you'll see all the time on TV, you know, when someone's taking out 82, they'll start on bullseye, because if they hit that, they can just go straight away 32, and if they hit that, you literally see them 17 tops. Just little ones, routes that you know, you see people a lot of time, 164, their ball. You know, there's so many different ways, but actually, if you watch the pros and watch the best players, they know the routes, they know. And one little habit I've got into, which has really helped me, is before I throw, I now am at the point where I know pretty much all the checkouts. I know a route to go if I'm on it. But what sometimes I don't know or I forget is if I miss that, for example, you know, if I'm on a 126, now I know, you know, it's going to be that, and then double six. But you also got to know is if you hit that, you have to know with 126, you can hit that and then go for bullseye. So you have to know the little ones that actually make a big difference to a game, because it can change the face of a game, and you might be just below someone on a level, but you can get that finish and that can change the whole game. So counting is key. The best way I've found to actually learn to do that, unfortunately, is going and chalking. I play in a Thursday league, which has massively helped my game improve. Not only am I playing good players in it, I'm also chalking. I don't get nervous really when I play, hardly at all. Don't really feel an awful lot from it. But what I do feel when I go to chalk, it's like, you know, someone's asked me to, you know, stand up in front of 10,000 people and do a speech off the top of my head. It's not going to happen easily. So for me, I actually get nervous when I chalk, not when I play. So if I could remove that, it will give me a lot more strength, and I'll go to that board thinking about that. So if you're just starting off, learn the basics of chalking, learn some of the checkout routes. It will give you an edge that you really can help you. Now, that's all of the basic tips, but there's just a couple of drills I wanted to do to really help you get over that beginner status. So get to that beginner level, hit that sort of 40-50 average, you know, hit over it, and then you're going to get that confidence. One is building confidence. So one big drill I do if I want to get that confidence going is I literally do 20 of them. So it doesn't matter if you go out wide, it doesn't matter if you go above here, as long as you're in these two lines, even going to here, you're in. Obviously you'd like to be there, but actually if you keep them straight, what that will do, that will help you to throw straighter darts. It's a drill that can really massively help. And another one I've done lots of times before is round the clock. So literally just hitting flat numbers, 1, 2, 3, and so on without missing. And keep going until you build that confidence. I don't worry about single numbers. It's very rare I miss them in a match, because actually I've done that drill so many times, I don't worry about it, I just know where they are. The odd time I might be playing terrible and I might miss one, but actually that's more down to confidence than it is anything else. So whatever you're bad at, focus on that first. But if you can throw 60s all day long, you can guarantee a 50 average. If you can't, then you need to work on getting straighter, throwing a little bit higher, because the other thing to remember is if all the time you're throwing low, you go a little bit lower and drop, you're there, you know, and nobody wants to see that, and then that. No one wants to see it, and you see it so many times. Oh, you know, 26, oh, you know, and you see people get very frustrated. I very rarely hit 26s because actually I focus on the straightness of the darts and building my technique around having a consistent game to hit a 60. I'd rather hit a 60 than a 26, you know. Obviously it's going to happen you're going to do it at some point, but if you can minimize, even when you do, thinking about it, disregard it, don't let it ruin your game. Which brings me nicely on to point number 5, mindset. If you want to get over the beginner status and get to, you know, your 50s and pushing towards 60 averages, what you really need to get is a mindset that is not feeling sorry for yourself if you're playing badly. In my view, I see it so often, someone who you're playing who actually can play quite well, but they're beating themselves up. Try not to bring negativity into your game. You know, this is one of the biggest things I could tell to lots of different levels. Even you see it sometimes on pros on TV. They'll bring negativity into their game and it will make them play worse. You know, darts is very much about confidence and very much about how you're feeling in your release. So keep confident, no matter what's happening, accept that you're going to throw bad darts, accept that actually sometimes you are going to throw wayward, and go with that, accept what's coming to you. You know, in a confidence standpoint, the more confidence you'll get from actually thinking, I don't have to beat this person, I don't have to, you know, do anything spectacular. I don't have to hit 180s. Just try and throw your best darts. Try to forget what your opponent's doing, or whether they're distracting, or whether they're doing whatever. And if they're becoming negative, take that as an advantage. You know, one thing I do personally is I actually watch my opponent. If he's hitting 180, 140, I'm thinking, well, I've got to gear myself up here and throw well, which means I'll focus better. And if he's hitting 26, 7, you know, 55, I'm straight away going to think, and he's beating himself up, I'm going to think, I've got this, you know, I've got this going on, you know, this guy's down himself, I'm gonna press him here. And that's what, you know, the master, Phil Taylor, done so well. When he used to bully people on the oche, you know, not physically, actually, just with his darts. When someone was down, he'd hurt them when it hurts. You know, how many times did you see, you know, and if you don't know, watch Phil Taylor, how many times he hit double 16 on a point where his opponent thought he was getting a little foothold. It just kills people off. So be mentally strong. And if you're getting frustrated, this is a massive one for people who are beginning. If you're getting frustrated, take a break or push through. Depending on what sort of personality type you are and how stubborn you are, either push through and accept what's happening, accept part of what it is. If you're going to get angry with yourself and actually annoyed, take a break, come back to it. Sometimes what actually happens is these muscles here, and even these muscles on tops of the shoulder, when you're actually throwing, they get very tired, especially when you first started off playing. I remember the first time I went to Q School, and I was literally, I'd never been to a sort of 3-day tournament really before. And my arm was in pieces. It still gets now if I do it like a long week or something like that. But actually, don't underestimate how sometimes tired your arm gets. You see it with pros as well. You know, they might be playing a long time. It's harder for them to notice when they're tired. But actually, the little tiny muscles in the arm here and all these little ones, they won't realise they're tired, but you'll just see them go off the boil. You see it with Michael van Gerwen actually quite a lot sometimes when he's playing badly. He'll just be under, over, under, over. All that is, in my opinion, is just the release point. His arms are not quite feeling exactly the timing of it, which is just such a simple thing, you know, because when he's supple and he's fresh and everything's all good, actually he could hit 180s all day for fun, you know, because his arms relaxed. And obviously when you get tight, you tighten up a little bit and a little bit more tension. So that's all it can be, but stay confident and stay hungry. You know, practice is a big key thing. Obviously I'm a big practicer, and it makes a big difference to your confidence. If you've put that bit of time in, you know, and that other person haven't, you're going to be standing there always better prepared than what someone is who they haven't practiced. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope some of it helps. But good luck, and I'll catch up soon.